All right,
Elementary school. I'm sorry.
Miss Bates, Miss Addison. At what point did you decide to become a teacher, or did you always know that you wanted to be a teacher?
Well, when I was little, there were many occupations I wanted to do. There was a lot of things I wanted to do when I grew up. I wanted to be a truck driver. I wanted to be a tennis player. I mean, you just name it. I want to be a doctor. But as I got older, because my mom was a teacher, I had many aunts that were teachers. So, well, my mom was more of a Head Start teacher. So I started, because I was just surrounded in teaching, I just became, I get not fascinated, but I think that's where I ended up. And I started out in nursing. I took my nursing test. I passed my nursing test. I sat in class for one day, and I did my schedule for nursing and my schedule for teaching. And I just had to pray about which profession that I want to go in. And I just had a dream, and I guess the Lord just showed me teaching. So I guess this is my calling. I guess.
Miss Bates?
Well, I can say I think ever since I was a little girl, it's just been my calling too. I can recall, I say probably about 7 or 8 years old when my sister was in college. I would play school all the time. I would take my sister textbooks, and then, my mama house, but the older houses got the wooden doors. I'd take the chalk and write on the door like it was a chalkboard. And I can recall my mom always telling me, when you become a teacher, you're going to be the meanest teacher, because I guess I always was. And then also, when I went to college, I started off, with the classes to become a teacher. And I just always wondered if that's what I really wanted to be. And it must be my calling, because other things I try to apply for with jobs, it just wouldn't come through for me. Just like I always piggyback to in the classroom. So, yeah, that's just my calling. I love teaching.
That sounds like me. Why did you guys choose the grade that you're teaching now?
I think, well, with the coronavirus and the things that are going on with the schools, it wasn't necessarily our choice, but they just put us where they felt like we would do best for our students. This year we looped with our students. Last year I started out in second grade when I first started out at Summit Elementary, and with the coronavirus, they said it would be best for the students if we would kind of loop with them. So we just moved with our students this year because we know our kids and we know their strengths and weaknesses, and we kind of know where they were when school left off and where we were in our teaching assignments. So it was better that we looped them. So this year it wasn't necessarily a choice, a personal choice, but it was just they felt like the best choice for the child for us to move to third grade.
Yeah, Miss Addison answered that. Yeah, I preferred second grade, but like she said, we really didn't have a choice this year. So here we are in third grade again, this time together instead of second.
Okay, I think this is a good one. Do you think teaching kids at that age how to work 21st century technology is a good thing, and why?
Um, yes, right now with the world changing, we're going to have to. I mean, they started out with kindergarten using the iPads and the computers, and by third grade, with this new program with the Google Classroom, something that our first, second, and third grades had not been working with. Um, it's challenging because it's like it screens in and out, and then you have family members that may or may not know how to maneuver in there. And we understand because this was our first year, you know, experimenting with the program that we're using. And it's going from, okay, in the classroom, and they're hands-on, they're using those motor skills, which is very important, especially at kindergarten, first and second. They're going from using those motor skills to it's just like just tap in a screen. And it's good on the end where they're learning basically a new way of life, but they still have those survival skills that they need, those foundational skills that they need. And technology, it could go either way. There's pros and cons to it. But at this grade level, I would think it's helpful. I just I would love that one-on-one interaction with the child, because you can't, like when they're writing and things, you usually at the kindergarten level, it's hands over hands, showing them how to write, especially cursive handwriting, and that effect.
Yeah, I agree with Miss Addison. Miss Addison kind of covered it all, but yeah, this is very. What you say, Miss Addison? No, you go right on ahead. But yeah, it's very different. It's very time consuming because really we supposed to been really starting teaching this week, but like Miss Addison said, this is our scholars' first time ever getting into Google Classroom. I think it didn't normally start until like 4th grade where they use Google Classroom. So now really they're getting a head start. So by the time they get in 4th grade, they should be familiar with it, and it should be easier for them to navigate and use. But yes, it's very different. And like Miss Addison, I'm very much a hands-on. I mean, I'll be wanting to get to my students where I can be beside them to kind of help them and correct them. And now it's really just, it's hard to do that. So, I mean, like Miss Addison said also, it has its ups and downs, pros and cons. Like yesterday, we just had to log off because of the weather. We had to stop our teaching and try to get most of them back on, but a lot of them didn't join back in. So, and they missed out on a little instruction from yesterday because some of them didn't log back in. So I just
also, Miss Bates, and I hate to cut you off, but yeah, like when we were starting, what program we were doing, like when we were doing the iReady and those programs, and at first we were saying, oh, our kids can't do this, and
right,
and practicing, but it just takes time.
It's gonna take time.
It takes time.
My big boom question here that's going to end the video, and I think I need coming in as a future educator, as a seasoned educator like you guys, what advice would you give to a future teacher?
What I will give to you as a future teacher is know your students. That's number one. My professor, that was one thing they told me. Make sure you know your student. Know the ones you can trust to go to the bathroom. Know the ones that you can, give you an honest answer about things. The ones you can trust, the ones that you have to hold close to. Know your students, even if it's know their backgrounds if you can. Take it slow, and we don't, as a teacher, you don't know everything. We are constantly, what we say, stealing information, and you just use it to tweak it how you want to tweak it. And don't ever feel like you are a bad teacher. When you have done your best that day, then you've done your best that day. And you can't let comments outside of your classroom get to you. And don't take so much of the emotional aspects of the school home. Yes, we take stuff like the child's something that may upset us at the school, we take those emotions home. Sometimes we have to figure out how to turn that off. But don't beat yourself up about decisions that you've made. If you've done it the best way you can, then you've done it the best way you can, and just be honest about it. If you don't know something, then just let them know. I don't understand this right now. I don't know. I'll get back to you. That's just being honest about your profession, and communicating with your peers, because there are things you're not going to know, but like Miss Bates may know something, and you have to have a relationship with your coworkers.
Ms. Bates?
Let's see. Like Miss Adams, another thing Miss Adams said is main thing, develop a relationship with your students. And I just started some classes back, and the class I'm taking right now is classroom management. And that was one of the things, it was a question, what was the question? I think it said something about getting to know his students, and, want his students to be able to let him know if another scholar or something is bothering them. And I come in, and that's what I told myself: if you develop a relationship with your students, 9 times out of 10, they're going to let you know who bothering them, what's going on. They'll want to come back and tell you what's going on at home, because they trust you just that much. And classroom management is very important. Mm-hmm. That's another thing. If you set your tone the first day of school, you will not have, and not saying that they're not going to misbehave sometimes, but it won't be an issue of them getting up, running around the room, you having to constantly fuss. Let them know your rules, stand by your rules, and they will respect you just that much. So classroom management, even when it comes to like seating arrangements, you just have to figure them out, get to know them. And but I think that's the main thing: classroom management, being organized, knowing your students, come and prepare, have your lesson together. Maybe sometimes it's hard, I'm not going to tell you. Maybe a week in advance, day in advance, but like with your lesson plans, that'll help you, be organized.
Okay. Thank you, Ms. Bates. Thank you, Ms. Astor, for taking time out to do this little short interview with me. I do appreciate you.
You're welcome.
We know.
You could just send it to my phone number. I sent it in a chat.
Okay. All right.
All right.
Thank you.
You're welcome.